All right, so it's been a while since I've done a video, and in that time I've been listening to the Diana TCs more than ever. And one of the things I wanted to do was follow up on my last video. And one of the things that you don't really see covered too much with these headphones, even though they're a core feature of the headphone, is the changing positions for the ear cups. So the ear cups are detachable and you can rotate them around because they're not the same shape all the way around. And what I wanted to do is talk about how those positions can change the sound signature. I've only seen one review actually touch on this, and it only told you their preference for it. So what I want to do is try all 4 positions and kind of talk about what I feel are the best in my own opinion, or how they change the sound. This is by no means a scientific test. This is purely subjective listening. I don't have one of those crazy crash test dummy heads to do frequency response. But yeah, this is just for fun, so hope you enjoy the video. Let's get into it. All right, so the first position is the default position. This is with the seam at the bottom back of the headphone cup. And you know, if you want to hear about what the sound signature of this position is, you can check out the full review because I don't want to really go into it. But in terms of comfort, and that's what we're going to judge this on, is sound and comfort. Comfort is the best with this position. It forms a nice seal around your ear. It doesn't have any pressure point, maybe a little bit towards the back, but there's no real like clamping pressure point on it. It's very comfortable, definitely the most comfortable of all the positions. And again, you just get that signature Diana TC sound. So let's move on to the second position. So the second position is, we're gonna go clockwise here, is when you move the seam to the bottom back top. Now, when you go to this position, what you immediately notice is the seam becomes a part where the pressure point is. So that's where you feel the headphone kind of pushing into your head. I mean, it's not crazy or anything, but you can definitely start noticing it as you move the seam around. So this goes into like your back ear area. Again, pretty comfortable, definitely not uncomfortable. You can forget about it after an extended period of time. And when you do this, you create a gap in your back ear area. And what this gap does is it pretty much increases the bass. So if you felt that the Diana TC was lacking in bass, opening up this gap brings back that bass. And you know, one of the things that I kind of missed when I went from the V2 to the TC was that intimacy and the bass that you get from the V2. So this basically transforms the TC into an improved V2. So now you bring back the bass, you maintain the bigger soundstage, but also you keep the clarity from the TC. So that resolution, that crispness, that clarity, that all remains in this position. So basically, if you want a souped up V2, you move this to the second position, again, the seam with the back at the top, and it's a pretty fun thing to listen to. Again, not the same amount of comfort, but you know, if you really want a bit of bass, then try using this position. Okay, again, we're gonna continue to spin this clockwise, and we're gonna move the seam to the front forward position. So what happens with this position is, now this is probably the most uncomfortable position because it starts putting the pressure on your temple area. Not to say that it's unwearable, but definitely the least comfortable of all the positions I tried. And this basically creates an even bigger gap in the back part of your ear area, which means the bass is supercharged even more. Now, this is when I first started noticing the actual sound signature of the headphone being affected. So the mids became a bit more muddied and you didn't get all that crispness in the treble region, but you got a lot of big booming bass. So if you want the most bass out of this headphone, this is probably the position that you want to pick. It never gets distorted or distracting, but I did really miss, you know, the clarity of the mids and highs, and I also did not like the uncomfortableness of this. I wear glasses, so having something getting pushed right into the glasses where it's supposed to kind of move away from the face is really uncomfortable. If you don't have glasses, maybe your experience is different, but with glasses, it really makes this headphone kind of sucky. All right, so if you move the headphones to the next position, this basically puts the seam in the bottom jaw area. It starts pushing in here. And this one's interesting because the headphone again becomes comfortable. I think this is the second most comfortable compared to the default position. But also, you know, you still keep a little bit of gap, but it brings it back to like a tamer Diana TC sound. Like you don't get that crazy bass with the second and third positions. You get a representation of the TC sound. Sometimes even the soundstage sounds a little bit wider, but it's kind of like mellowed out. So if you felt like the TC just had too much resolution, too much crispness, like it was just too intense for you, this is like the mellow out version position. So a bit interesting. I don't know if I was getting this TC, I would want a toned down position, but maybe if you're doing extended listening sessions, like one of the drawbacks of the TC series is that, because you have so much detail, the recordings that you enjoy might sound kind of bad, because if they weren't recorded well, then these are going to reveal that. So having this kind of toned down thing helps with that. So that's what this position does. All right, so we've tried all the different positions. So which one is the best? Which one do I enjoy the most? So I hate to be the lame person here, but I do enjoy the default position the most, and this is for a variety of reasons. So headphones to me are, a tool first and an entertainment device second. So I use the headphones to edit videos and, mix audio and be productive, be on work calls. So I am going to be wearing them for long periods of time. And if they ever get uncomfortable, then I got to take them off or fatiguing. Like it really is not a headphone that I really want to use. That's one of the reasons why I don't like using noise canceling headphones for work, is because especially when you turn the noise canceling on, they create this weird like pressure on your ears and you just want to take them off, and it gets fatiguing over time. So with these, the default position is what I like the most. It's the most comfortable position. It's pleasant to listen to. Doesn't change the sound too much or anything. I guess at times even the position 4, which has like the even more mild version of the TC, would be nice, because if you're on a call and someone has really bad microphone audio, it actually makes it worse. But just the comfort, and the comfort being so important, and being able to get the details, especially when I'm editing video, makes the default position the best for me. Now, if it was a weekend, if I was listening to music and I wanted to have a bit more fun with my music, get the bass, get a bit more enjoyment out of it, I'd probably use position 2, getting that bass, but not the crazy position 3 bass, but just a bit more bass while keeping the clarity and the intimacy. I probably would pick that for some weekend listening. But let me know in the comments if you have a Dyna TC or not, what position you like the most, if you changed it around, if you tried it out, or if you have any questions about the headphones at all. I know these are kind of expensive headphones, so not everyone can pick them up, but there's headphone shows going on all over the US, so definitely try them out if you can. And also, I see people doing even crazier modifications, like creating spacer gaps and stuff to use with the headphones. So if you've been doing that, let me know in the comments. Thanks again for watching. Hopefully we'll get back to making videos in like more than one video per quarter. We'll see, no promises. This summer is actually going to be pretty crazy for me. But next up, I actually traveled recently to the US, so I picked up some AirPod Maxes for the plane travel. So we're going to be covering those, and then maybe a little bit of different stuff that goes on. Let's see what happens. But thanks to everyone who supported the channel so far. See you next time.